Hello and welcome back. The sisters are back, and today we have a big lineup. We've got the review for one of the biggest games in the first three game weeks, with a lot of green and gold happening, and protests happening, and things happening all across. Plus, we've got a review for the Sunday game. So, sister, let's start off before we jump into the review for what happened yesterday and all the blues had been battered black and blue. So first, what I want to know what is happening at the green and gold and the reds section. So what should I call it? Is it the red section or the green and gold section and the red section? So I am slightly confused. But coming on to game week number 3, a big game week for both the teams in terms of Liverpool and Manchester United in their own unique way. What do you think does this bring for us as fans?
I think, sister, this game is always considered to be the biggest game in the English calendar, in the Premier League calendar, and not just because of the strength and the legacy of these two teams, but to be honest, this time around it is a bit overshadowed with the protests which are planned for this game, and I'm not too sure whether we would be able to do a review of this game tomorrow regarding this, because I don't know whether this game is going to happen or not, because there's a huge support in Manchester United corner which is saying that they want to have stage a huge mass protest in before this game. Maybe the game might get delayed, but if I just talk about the footballing aspect, I think both the teams haven't had good start to the season. Obviously, for United, it has been like a turmoil on and off the pitch. But for Liverpool as well, considering the way they have performed over the last 4 5 seasons, competing with Manchester City, they have realized that if you want to have any chance of securing the league, you need to get close to 100 points. So, having already slipped up in two games, including one with the already upcoming team with Fulham this season. So I think they would be disappointed with the start of the season. They would desperately want to have 3 points on board, because I think they've not performed literally well in the first two game weeks. With United, I think I really don't see them having any chance in this game, because I think the problems which are right now outside the club from an ownership perspective, with a lot of distraction around what is being spent, whether the fans are going to allow this game to happen or not. So a lot of things which are off the pitch is happening from a Manchester United perspective. So I think this game is equally important for both, just like any previous era or any previous year. But I would say this time around, this game is a bit overshadowed with the off-field situations surrounding Manchester United.
My thoughts are slightly in the more or less in the same direction. But my thing is that if United and Manchester United are names very synonymous to the Premier League and the kind of games it is there, it is action packed, it is bloody, it is everything which a fan like us who's been a fan of a Premier League asks for and requires. But with the overshadowing of the protests, with Glazers' protests of going out, the new signings are now starting to trickle in for Manchester United. I'm hearing Gakpo, I'm hearing Frankie, I'm hearing I think the Casemiro has been confirmed. And then Anthony from Ajax again about is more or less confirmed. So there are signings, and there is a push for supporting Eric Ten Hag in the Manchester. I still feel that whatever protests have to happen can happen outside the game, but shouldn't affect the game so much. Yes, the teams of Manchester United and Liverpool uh, uh, gave a lot to give a lot to the fans, but overall, my opinion is that if this game gets delayed or suspended or deferred, it is going to affect more than anybody else. It's going to affect the fans themselves. They're going to be going back again, doing the same protest
Exactly.
again and the same thing. There is dissatisfaction with the ownership, understandable, but the level where the fans, my understanding is the level where fans should be, they should be supporting the team. You're dissatisfied with the owner, show your dissent, but not to a level where you're causing trouble for normal public as well. And this is what my thought is. What do you think about it? And this is
I
something
think
which
I think
troubles me a lot.
you're bang on. You're bang on, because if we are going to stage a protest, I think this has to be on every home game, every time any other team also comes
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Old Trafford. So I think this time around, the reason why they want to always have a protest with such a marquee game is because this is the marquee game of the Premier League. This is like two teams having 39 titles between them. You can't get any bigger than this. So always they want to have that biggest statement whenever Liverpool is coming to Old Trafford. Last time also we saw. Last time also there were a lot of protests and a lot of like people they barraged into the ground itself and they were like playing across the field, and Old Trafford it was like literally conquered by the fans. So I think this is a statement game from the United fans perspective as well. But on the pitch, I still feel that Manchester United as a team, they don't have that much capability. Even with the signings, even with what you mentioned, I think this is just a trickling point. If the Glazers were that serious, they would have got these signings much before, not waited till the end of August and all these fiasco which is going around. So I think still from a game perspective, my prediction for this game, and this would be, I think, slightly this is really no brainer right now that I would say it is a Liverpool's game to lose. So I would go for Liverpool in this game. What's your take?
Yeah, I've seen Liverpool playing. I've seen Liverpool playing. I've seen United playing last week as well, where they were mauled. I still feel there is going to be the overhaul which is happening, the processes which are starting to take place. I believe that's going to bring a much more positive outlook to Manchester United now in this week. I am expecting a big upset. I'm expecting an upset on the Liverpool front, and I'm expecting United to go all out and show the Manchester United faithful and the crowd that they are they're there for the reckoning. And I still feel that tonight we might see a United win over Liverpool after a long period of time, or a draw for that matter. But then my hunch says it's going to be United beating Liverpool, if not hands down, yeah, but by a goal or so. That's what my thought is.
That's a pretty brave prediction on
A
that.
brave prediction. I know that it's a very very brave prediction. So moving on, so we had a action-packed Sunday as well, and we've spoken about what is going to happen tonight, but we cannot forget what happened yesterday. There were three teams playing in blue. Two had the blues. One battered the brown to a black. Let me put it this way. So starting off, we had two games kicking off together. One was West Ham versus Brighton, and one was Leeds versus Chelsea. I did make a very very bold prediction yesterday, and I think so. You saw that I was expecting West Ham to beat Brighton or have a draw, Chelsea to overcome Leeds, and in a good way because the kind of performances they gave. And I was expecting a City mauling Newcastle, but it was an even Stevens. I still was not sure in it. What happened was absolutely different.
Absolutely.
Absolutely different. I want to start off, and I want to kick off with my 2 cents of United. With Leeds United versus Chelsea. Atrocious. No formation. Is it lack of signing or is it an end of an era?
I think end of an era is a very, very strong statement to make because I think Thomas Tuchel as a manager and what he wants to show in Chelsea as and what he has done over the past 2 years, I think he's a good manager. I think it's not an end of an era, but it shows the frailties in the Chelsea lineup. Why I still feel that this is not a balanced squad. Number one, I think there are two positions which Chelsea had to really strengthen. Number one was their defensive midfield position, which I still feel if Kante is fit, he goes into that starting 11 as the first choice. I think the first name on the team sheet.
Yeah.
But Kante is not fit right now. So when Kante is not fit, the problem with Chelsea is that they don't have that kind of a player who can actually run from box to box,
Agreed.
which is a very difficult player to have. So I think that is one problem. But I think the one problem which was showcased yesterday is something which I think most fans, I'm not saying Chelsea fans, but most fans in general, they are talking about that number 9 for Chelsea is required, whether Tuchel likes to play in a different way or not. Because even if you had Kai Havertz winning the Champions League for Chelsea a couple of seasons back, even if you play in that false line 9 position, you still need a person who can actually finish the job. I don't see Chelsea having a finisher.
Yeah.
I see Sterling a winger, and I think it was clearly for everybody to see yesterday that he cannot take the chances which are there put in front of a plate for them. You have such amazing wing backs you have in the form of James and Cucurella, and who can actually deliver the ball so well in that box area. But I think unfortunately Chelsea doesn't have the finisher, which they lack. I think number 9 is their main problem. Right? What's your
I believe so. I believe so again, and more than that, you hit the hammer on the head for Chelsea as well. I believe the defensive midfield, the defense does need more sort of stability. I'm not saying go out and buy, but then if you're expecting that Kante is not going to play and you're going to be bringing in Conor Gallagher cannot be a number six kind of a player. He's more of a upfront number 8, along with Mount kind of a player running from the back kind of a thing. But then if you're expecting him to hold back and play that he cannot do, and we saw that the kind of plays he did for Crystal Palace last season. If you're expecting him to do that, you have to give him that free play. But again, the difference is in the coach. How does Tuchel want to play his team in a specific manner? How did Patrick Vieira play last season for Crystal Palace? Made Crystal Palace play. So again, 2 different ideologies, 2 different coaches. But for a player to slot in, I still feel Chelsea is a long way off. And yesterday was
right now, throwing a question at you.
Yeah.
If these 2 are the main areas of improvement for Chelsea, which is number 9 and a CDM position, which one do you think is more important as compared to the other? Which position they need to really strengthen right now?
The number 9 is more important right now because up front, in front of the goal, there's dryness coming because you don't have Kai scoring, you don't have Mount scoring, you don't have Sterling scoring. Your wing backs are passing the ball in the center, which are beautiful balls from James or Chilwell when he's playing, or from Cucurella who's coming from the left side. You got Jorginho who's playing in the middle, and you got RLC also there. You've got Kante also there. But then again, somebody to finish those balls is not there, and that is a big question mark. And this, I believe, Chelsea fans will agree or not. You've got Costa. It was the same procedure. Post Costa, it was the same issue. We were lucky again, and in the second season we got Morata or somebody, but then again no performances, and this has been the case for Chelsea. And it's been there for a long period of time. So I really don't know what is there in their mind. I'm hearing Aubameyang and Frankie also is being linked. Those guys they are not your perfect number 9. They are those tiki taka. Chelsea needs somebody who's a beefed up bugger who's hitting elbows and clashing with defenders. There's a fear of him.
So post Costa, Chelsea has been missing that number 9, which I think everybody will agree on.
There's been that case.
Now moving to
the next
West Ham and Brighton. West Ham becoming the first team to lose 3 games in a row in the season. I think United is going to join them tonight, but West Ham is currently bottom of the league. So what has happened? What do you think? What has happened suddenly from a Europe contender to languishing at the bottom? What do you think has gone wrong for West Ham?
I believe I believe they're still coming out of that comfort zone. West Ham, especially their main players, Nick Rice.
Do you think the hangover of Europa is still there from last season?
Yes, and that is there, and that arrogance, the pride is showing off. The lack of mentality, the lack of being there, mentally present. If you see the goals yesterday, they were all savable. Now, no doubt, when the way Brighton played, kudos to them. West Ham should have done much better. They actually the kind of experience with Nick Rice plays, and he should be commanding. Yesterday he was a cat, or he was a dog who was being hit by a stone, and he was whimpering away, and that is what Brighton did. And Brighton has been giving those performances. We've all seen it last season as well, and this season they're out of the blocks in a flash. So these things have to be taken into account. West Ham, a lot of scope of improvement. A lot of scope of improvement is required. Moving from West Ham, and even though yes, Brighton, I cannot take credits away from Brighton. What were your thoughts of the Brighton game? How
I
do you
think
think
I think Brighton, to be honest, is one of the best drilled teams in the Premier League. I've been
it,
saying this for the past two seasons that the way Brighton is managed, and you have to give credit to the manager for bringing up this team, because even after losing players like this Cucurella to Chelsea, and also that midfielder Bissouma to Spurs, the way they have progressed, and you see Pascal Gross coming really to the fray right now. He has improved so much. He was always they're one of the most potential goal scorers coming from the midfield, but the way he has been performing over the last couple of games, what he did at Old Trafford now against West Ham, I think Brighton, the way they have been drilled and coached by over the last couple of seasons, I think it's commendable, and that is why Brighton is one of
it is actually a Graham Potter's team.
exactly.
Brilliant fucking team, man.
Absolutely, absolutely,
A
and
well
a
drilled.
team which is
After a long time, I've seen somebody who as a coach, I really liked this guy. So Alex, a drill team. Jose Mourinho's drill team. Conte's has a very drill team, specific manner. Tuchel again a drill team. And out of if I don't take the big names, this guy is one of them. I really like the way these guys play. And Burnley former manager also brilliant team, man. A drilled
absolutely. So
team,
Brighton is a very tough team to play in the Premier League.
especially when you're
That's
going to
all.
Amex. They're becoming
Yes,
they're becoming the Stoke of the new Premier League era, I believe, and not just at home. They're going away and bashing the hell out of.
exactly. This season so far, no losses and the 2 wins away from home. So that's really
That's a
commendable.
big thing. Uh, let's
Yes.
come to the elephant in the room. The Arabs,
Time.
the big Arabs playing the the new boys playing the old Arab boys, uh, each other, oil money, whatever you call it. Yesterday, I saw Newcastle, the old Newcastle, which I think so. We all have seen under the Alan Shearer era. I should put it across.
Yes.
Man, what a bloody atmosphere St. James's Park had. It
Absolutely. I
was,
think I think a very rare occasion a team over the last few seasons under the tutelage of Pep Guardiola, a team has gone toe to toe against City. Liverpool does that, but no other team apart from Liverpool does it. A few games here and there with Spurs when Conte and played City, and also when maybe Jose played City. But I think yesterday the way Newcastle was really in front of City, the way they were like going toe to toe with City, and not just toe to toe. They were actually there was a time in the game when Newcastle were really dominating City, and that was really good to see. Good to see from the
yeah,
Premier League overall
absolutely.
perspective. And
I
they were 3-1 ahead. They were
3-1,
3-1 ahead,
3-1,
and
3-1, and I have to give credit. To be very honest, but the credit has to be given where it's due. Coming down from 3-1, any team at that manner, the shoulders would have drooped. Credits to City, credits to Guardiola, and 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 they. This is what champions material is made of. 3-1 down,
absolutely,
drawing 3-3. Fine, they've dropped points. It's not about dropping points. It is about the quality which City has. It's about the quality the
exactly.
manager has. It is about the drive the players have. This is something which we really love to see, that going down 3-1 to a Newcastle who's coming up, they want to show their breed as well against City.
Absolutely.
Man, they've done all yesterday. A brilliant game. I think
Absolutely.
so.
But it was a brilliant game. It was a brilliant game, but it also showcased like how City is well adept in all the positions they can. Like they have a great defense, they have a great midfield, they have a great strike force. I think you sometimes get loss of words in the kind of attack, or maybe the stuff they have on their benches. Well, it's a B team which can actually beat any other Premier League side.
I
It's that strong, their bench.
I agree, man. How do you tell me one thing? It is going to be a tough thing to keep Mahrez out and playing Gundogan, or keeping Gundogan out and playing by Mahrez for 90 minutes. You didn't even
Exactly.
bring Mahrez. You didn't feel the need for bringing in Mahrez when you had Gundogan scoring. You got KDB who's running the show. You sorted out your number 9 Haaland, the best bloody striker, young striker. Your defense is bloody sorted. You got 8-10 players in your defense. You can
And
swap
that
to him.
and that's the reason yes, you give due credit to City, but that's the reason I think the same shout of I think applause should be there for Eddie Howe and his men as well,
Yes.
because trust me, the way they brought the game to City. It is very tough for any team to do that. And to see in the Premier League, I think apart from Liverpool, in the last few seasons, I think this is the first time I've seen a team really go toe to toe with City. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly. But you could have, if City would have lost it, I would have not given a bad day to Manchester City. I would have said the Newcastle players outplayed their skin yesterday. They were out of this world at least first 50, 60 odd minutes, and they were all over the place. They were all over bloody City. And this is something which you love. End to end, Trippier. Oh, I have never seen Trippier play
That's
like
speaking,
this.
beautiful speaking.
I have never seen Trippier play like this in Spurs, when he was in Spurs or Atletico as well. I have never seen him do that. And the way he's been commanding and pushing people, nothing like it.
Yes. And this brings us to the end of our review for yesterday's games. And I would just like to say that right now, the table toppers are Arsenal, which is again something which we don't see often. And I think with tonight's game, there could be one more change at the bottom of the table, which I am predicting. But
I am
let's see
not.
what happens.
Yes, see what
Let's see what
happens.
happens.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for catching in and tuning in. We'll meet you
Thank
guys
you.
in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.